Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where you not only talk about, we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix this bad boy together. Guys, we are effectively building the bridge between the 2A activists and veterans in the 2A space and the right space into the broad population, and we are going to change this culture from our experience. And thank you for being here. We have got some crazy stuff that I'm about to show you. We have ICE agents under fire, caught on camera by news crews. Love to see how they're going to spin this one. We're going to walk through how Republican women are buying more guns than liberal men. That's going to be later on. I'm going to show you how the Democrats are splitting across the board around this whole socialist in New York thing. And if there's time, I've got one more thing at the very end, which I'm looking forward to. So as you guys get in here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and please send this out because the YouTube algorithm is on the struggle bus on this one. So make sure you send it out because we're just not getting the distribution, and you know how that goes. So as you guys get in here, make sure the audio is good, the video is good. It looks like you guys are starting to show up, so let's get right into the party. And as you get in here again, let me know if you got audio and video solid. So guys, make sure you hit over there on X at Braden LOA. You join me. You make sure you follow me. We've got more distribution on X than we do on YouTube currently, and it's all because of you guys. It gets the message out, so make sure you follow me at Braden LOA on X as you get in here. All right. As you guys are filtering in, I'm just going to start going into this because honestly, YouTube is really struggling. First comment is YouTube strikes again with no notification. Thank you guys for showing up. All right, send this out. Get around the algorithm. Here is the actual sponsor of the video. This is my company. Guys, we are going to change the culture around the 2A space. We are going to change the politics around the 2A space. We are going to make the culture so acclimated to guns and gun rights and make that the norm that politicians can't screw us anymore. It's that simple. I'm pretty irritated, and we're going to do this together. The way we're going to do it, on the secondpress.co, which is linked in the description box below, we're doing cutting-edge technology and testing with messaging you've never seen before using a lot of creative elements. We're writing traditional media. We're doing long forms, lives, shorts, merch. We've got podcasts that we're working on. All of this is meant to further that mission. If you guys would like to partner with us and get behind-the-scenes footage and involved in the process, secondpress.co, we'd love to have your support because the more that you support, the more we grind, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's get into this, guys. If you missed the video that we put out about 3 hours ago, make sure you watch this one. Could SBRs soon be cheaper than rifles? Yeah, the side effect of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the video I did about 5 p.m. earlier, watch that one. All right, let's get into this. Here is the actual content of which you came. This is actually at a protester, a peaceful protest, where they actually caught one of the protesters shooting at ICE agents on camera from a helicopter. I'm about to play it for you. Here's the caption. Left-wing rioter reportedly opens fire on federal agents during the California immigration raid. This is getting more dangerous with every riot. Democrats own this, and that's a very important piece to this, all right? When we're looking at all that we've seen in the past week, remember how we had an ambush against CBP and Border Patrol agents? Yeah, that was fun. Almost killed 3 border agents in an ambush-style attack. Prevented with a good guy with a gun, by a good guy with a gun, by the way. Then you had the ICE agent who was ambushed and got shot in the neck. 11 people are facing attempted murder charges on that one. And now you have uprisings in LA that are peaceful protests that are actively shooting on camera at these ICE agents and federal agents. I don't know, guys. Might be time to turn the rhetoric down just a little bit on the left side. Just saying. Maybe tone down the whole Republicans are killing people thing. I don't know. Call me crazy. Let's watch the clip. I'm going to shut myself out and get going.
Take a look at this video right here. It appears a protester fired some kind of gun at federal agents. This happened this afternoon. It was a really chaotic scene at the time. A lot of smoke was being launched at the protesters. And again, it appears a protester fired back with that weapon. It looks like he fired at least a couple of times. We have not heard about any agents being hurt.
All right, so now you have photographic video evidence of the peaceful protesters now actively shooting with handguns in California, a gun control state, at federal officers while the Democrats are upping rhetoric against everything the Republicans and the officers are doing. At the same time that they're saying and putting forward bills like Senator Padilla saying that the ICE agents need to be fully demasked. This is what we're Okay, let's go to another angle on this one. This is also what's happening. There's no audio on this one. I'll just talk through this one. Same little peaceful protest. Yeah, it looks like this is really calming down and toning down. Keep in mind that ICE and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement now has more funding than the actual nation of Italy for their whole army. Just saying. This is not going to go slower. So maybe we turn the rhetoric down just a smidgen so we don't have ICE agents ambushed, so we don't have Border Patrol agents ambushed, and we don't have open shooting in the streets from peaceful protesters. Maybe? Am I out of touch on that one? You guys can let me know in the comments over there. And as you guys are filtering in, make sure you are sharing this out because the YouTube notification system is effectively like dead. Because wow, it's not working great. So make sure you just send this out and get around that pesky algorithm. Now, this one I found particularly interesting. We're just going to kind of keep on going through the things I found interesting. You're going to love each of these, and then we're going to get into the actual part how Republican women are buying more guns than men and changing the entire demographics of gun ownership. Great job, ladies. Just in, Representative Jasmine Crockett leads the Texas U.S. Senate primary for Democrats. Jasmine Crockett might be going to the Senate as a candidate for the Democrats, guys. Now, if you're not familiar with Colin Allred's the guy who always loses to Ted Cruz. He's like their own little version of Beto O'Rourke. Yeah, Colin Allred might get ousted by Jasmine Crockett, and you might have a Jasmine Crockett v. Ted Cruz. At the same time, you have a John Cornyn versus a Ken Paxton. Oh, Texas. Okay, you guys might have Jasmine Crockett for the Democrat nominee in the Senate against Ted Cruz. It's right there. She's actually winning in the Democrat primary. And here you go. This is from today. Jasmine Crockett considers running for Texas U.S. Senate in 2026. I wonder how that'll go for our gun rights in our country overall. Jasmine Crockett. Okay, this is like one of the AOCs in the House Democrats, moving up to the Senate. And it also sounds very familiar because AOC has also been asked to go up to the Senate to take out Chuck Schumer. Could you imagine the United States Senate with Jasmine Crockett and AOC in it? Wow. Well, anyway, Texas, you guys are going to have your work cut out for you on that one. We're just going to keep on going through these updates because, quite frankly, these are just too unbelievable. And then we'll get to the actual researched out portions. All right, so this one is going to make your jaw drop. Joe Rogan just announced that he's willing to vote for a younger generation of Democrats. Let's go, says Democratic Wins Media. Okay, I want to read that one more time before I play the clip so you can see the contrast in what they said and what reality is, okay? Joe Rogan just announced that he's willing to vote for a younger generation of Democrats. So the takeaway here in this minute clip is that Joe Rogan's going to vote for a younger Democrat. That's the takeaway. Okay, let's listen to the clip and see if that matches. And you guys, I need to hear you in the comments on this one and send this out because wow.
We're at this crazy part. Right before.
Yeah.
Where the president is like clearly gone and everybody's like, no, he's amazing. All these fucking people, because they don't want the other guy to win, are just lying to everyone and ruining their credibility. Because no one's admitting, like, okay, I'm willing to vote Democrat. Show me one that says something that makes sense that I can trust that's not dying. Just show me one that's younger. Show me one that is a reasonable centrist that makes sense with all this. But they don't want to do that. They just want to keep trotting this crazy situation out where you get this Alzheimer's patient or whatever he's got, dementia. And he's like making shit up and just saying things and everybody has to correct him. And it's like, and everyone knows what's going on, but no one on one side is willing to say it because if you say it, then it's going to empower Trump, who's Hitler. It's like, holy shit, kids. This is not good.
All right. So did that match with that Democrats Win Media? Did that sound to you guys like it was Joe Rogan's on the fence, he's joining the Dems, just get us someone young? Or did that sound like that might have been propaganda, just a smidgen? This is what they're resorting to. Wait until I show you later on when multiple Democrats are talking about how they're down or they're not down for the Socialist in New York. This is fun. I can't wait for that one. But anyway, So you just tell me, was that reality or was that not? And now we get to the really awesome part, ladies. If you are a lady out there in the Republican space, good job being more masculine than the liberal Democrats on gun rights. All right, check this out. This was interesting. U.S. gun ownership rates by key subgroup. Now, this was fascinating because I looked over at the actual article, and wouldn't you know it, here it is. Gun ownership rates have spiked among Republican women. Oh, now, this is an older article. Keep in mind, this is not a brand new thing. But, okay, kind of checks out with everything I just showed you, right? Ownership among all Americans steady as fewer non-Republican men own guns. Gun ownership among U.S. adults is holding steady near 30%, but that masks a sharp increase in ownership among Republican women, offsetting declines among Democratic and independent men. Do you know what that translates to? We are buying more guns in this country. They're on the Republican side of the aisle, and the reason that it's changing the entire demographic of the United States ownership profile is because women are buying more guns on the right than men are buying on the left. Good job, ladies. And I dare say you're more attractive for it. What? Let's continue. According to his 6-year groupings of Gallup's annual measurement of personal gun ownership since 2007, the percentage of Republican women who own a gun has increased from 19% in 2007 to 33% in 2019 to 2024. So from 19 to 33, big change. Meanwhile, the rate has fallen 7 percentage points among Democratic men to 29%, and is down 5 points among independent men to 39%. Republican men remain the most likely gun owners among gender and party identification subgroups at 60. So everything stayed relatively the same, except ladies went from 19% to 33%, and Democrat men went down. Wow. Okay, there's so much stuff in here. I'm just going to do the highlights. Everything will be linked if you actually want to look at this article yourself. But this is telling. As then, gun ownership rates continue to diverge sharply by gender. Even as more women personally own a gun, men, 43%, are more than twice as likely as women, 20%, to own a gun. However, the gender gap has shrunk from 30 points to 23 points. Women are buying more guns at a quicker rate than men and it's affecting the entire demographics. Anybody out there in the industry, that's a big thing to note. While the gender gap has shrunk, the political party gap has expanded. Same thing I just told you. The personal gun ownership rates differed by 16 points among Republicans, 38, and Democrats. Now the gap is 28 points. So literally all the guns are shifting to the right side of the aisle, and the big driving force is white women. And on the left, you've got the minority purchasers being women. Dudes on the left, what's happening right now? Okay, let's continue. I got even more stuff for you. The model estimates that the statistical odds of a man owning a gun are 3.1 times greater than the odds of a woman owning a gun. After taking into account the effect of other variables, that compares with a much larger 4 to 5 odds ratio for men versus women when applying the same model to the 2007 data. Republicans are currently 1.5 times more likely than non-Republicans to own the gun, after controlling for the effects, other factors, gender, region, place of residence. Additionally, Democrats, listen to this, are 1.3 times less likely than non-Democrats to own a gun. This represents a change, as the 2007-2012 analysis did not find the party identification had a meaningful statistical relationship. Do you understand what that means? They are creating a monolith on the left, just like we are creating a monolith on the right. The monolith on the right is we all have guns. It's part of the party identification. The identity on the left is you're not allowed to have a gun. You can't do that. Men don't have as many guns as women on the left, and it's a decreasing ratio or sample. So you are literally getting a purification of party by have a gun and don't have a gun. Keep that in mind. Okay? How do you think that's going to work out with all the cities, all the crime, and all of the peaceful protests, which I showed you in the open of this video, where they're actually shooting at ICE agents now on camera? Guys, good Lord. Anyway, Republicans are currently 1.5. I think I read that part. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. The model identifies several other factors that are important predictors of gun ownership, including household incomes, 2.2 times more likely for the upper than the lower income, risk profile. Household income, I just said that. Living in a rural area, 2.1 times more likely than non-rural residents. Risk profile, no help is nearby. And being older, 1.6 times more likely. Guys, all the gun ownership is increasing in generic demographics that are showing a higher vulnerability. Upper class, check, higher odds of crime happening. Rural area, less likelihood of police nearby, and older, less strength versus an assailant. All of those things are pointing towards Second Amendment rights. And then you've got being politically liberal right there, 1.7 times less likely to having a gun. I mean, good Lord. And here's all the data if you wanted to see it. Bottom line, and this, I want to hit this real quick, and then I'll go into the next piece, which the next one you're really going to like. I will jump to the super chats here in 1 second. And guys, if you're just now getting in here, make sure you send this one out because the notifications are trash right now on YouTube. So just send this one out, please, and hit that like button to basically jump it to life like you would with the paddles. Bottom line, a steady 31% of U.S. adults personally own a gun, while another 13% say there's a gun in their household that belongs to someone else. The stability in the overall figures obscures an increase in ownership among women in general, driven by Republican women. Again, Republican women are buying guns at rates so great that they are changing the national demographics. I see you, ladies. At the same time, fewer Democratic and independent men own guns, suggesting that gun ownership decisions may be influenced by one's political beliefs more than in the past, likely because of the salience of the gun issue in political campaigns and political culture today. The left is isolating anyone who owns a gun. They are purifying in their anti-gun stance. That's what's happening. Except the left female. She's buying guns. But the left male, nope. Nope. Can't be doing that. That is bad. Toxically masculine, I'll have you know. All right, so what we're going to do now, guys, as you get in here, there are 500 of you, and thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to dive into everything that we have left. I think we have time to go through this last segment. I don't want to get the videos to 45 minutes on these lives because we're still working on how we're going to deliver this stuff to you. We're increasing content. So we're trying to do it in the most efficient, effective way possible. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on as we are going through this. But let me read these super chats really quickly. I got a couple of them. John Wynn for a $5 super chat says, typical Dem/lib lies. Don't hold back, John. Don't hold back on my accord. And super chat from Mike Yu, 199 says, Braden, thank you for being a two-way voice. Mike Yu, thank you for being two-way text. No, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for taking part in this. This is incredible. Mike Kelly over here says, no notification from YouTube again. I will tell you, I am shocked to my core. I did not see that coming. Yes, I did. It's like on life support right now. All right. What we're going to go into right now is something that should probably bring you glee, right? Because we're going to watch together, and I'm going to show you how the left leaders are handling the socialist New York mayoral candidate, Mamdani. I think his name is Mamdani. I can't ever pronounce it right. This is causing a problem. And the reason that we're going to cover this, and the reason that this is really important, is because we've covered on this channel since about January the big dim civil war that's happening between the far left progressives and the far left, and the establishment Democrats. Now, this is everything in our two-way space fight. And the reason that we're covering this, I just want to relay the groundwork really quickly. The reason that we cover this stuff and we hit on these things so tightly is because it directly affects our two-way rights in the long fight. What we have traditionally done in the two-way media space is we've reacted to the immediate incendiary or the immediate catalyst. Something happens, we quickly react, and we start basically going after it. If we start laying the groundwork and look at the entire thing ahead of schedule, we can prevent a lot of this from getting to this point. That's the idea. That's why we're changing the culture through the secondpress.co. That's why we're hitting all these things. That's why we have a complete, unique perspective to do these things. That's the idea behind it, okay? Now, let me get into Chuck Schumer because the left really is split on this. And the establishment Dems don't want anything to do with it. And it's really funny to watch. All right, watch this. This is great. Come on, Chucky.
It's been about a month since the New York City mayoral primary. You have yet to endorse the Democratic nominee. What is holding you back, and what will it take for you to get to that point?
I'll be meeting with them soon. Yes.
Some allies of the Democratic nominee for mayor have been threatening potential primary challenges against Stephen Jeffries, other opponent Democrats in New York. Does that risk distracting Democrats from taking back the House and Senate?
The bottom line is Democrats are united. We are fighting the high costs that American people pay. We are fighting the health care cuts Republicans are making. We are fighting the horrible bill that they just passed. Democrats are united, and we have been far more united, frankly, than the Republicans.
We're so united, you can't out-unite us. The united is oozing from my face. That's why I simply won't answer two separate questions about the exact same topic about how united we are. See how united we are? Chuck Schumer won't answer the question. If you didn't hear the questions, the question was, hey, what's up with the socialists in New York? You guys cool? You guys not cool? Where you sit on that? Never mind. What about this guy? Hey, about that guy in New York, that's socialist, because you know the media loves them, some socialists and some lefties. How you feel about that? Listen, we are united more than you could ever be in your whole life. We are united like the Avengers. Like, so united. I'm so united, I'm not going to talk about how united we are. All right, that's the first one. Again, I've got multiple. This one set some lefties' heads on fire today. I'm just going to lean into it. I'm still feeling a little antagonistic. I got to be honest with you. All right, this is setting people's heads on fire because you can't say this if you're a Democrat because, you know, they're so united, right? And there's so much room for open thought in their party. Yeah, here's John Fetterman being John Fetterman. Watch this.
I'm not a voter in New York City, and so I have no dog in that fight. And everything that I've read on him, I don't really agree with virtually any of it politically. So that's just where I'm at as a Democrat. I mean, he's not even a Democrat, honestly.
You want to take that on? He's not even a Democrat.
Yeah. You want to take that on? We're so united. This guy's not even a Democrat. He's a Democrat. You want to talk about it? No, we're so united. Yeah, that's just number 2. All right, let's go to number 3. Again, guys, I'm going to show you all these things, and I'm going to tie it all together. All right, so this is in the House. I just showed you 2 senators. I showed you Chuck Schumer, Majority Leader, and I've shown you now John Fetterman, who's a senator. Now I'm going to show you Representative Clyburn. This guy runs South Carolina. Talking about the same guy, Mamdani, the socialist in New York. Watch this. Again, they're so united. So united. All these clips happen in the same 24 hours. You guys just didn't see it because we've been talking about something else. All right, let's get it. Refresh that because, you know, there wouldn't be a good stream if I didn't have one of these not work.
Do you support Mamdani's candidacy as the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York?
Absolutely, I do. I support Democratic nominees. The fact of the matter is, my relationship with Cuomo goes back to when he was Secretary of HUD, and the South Carolina got one of those empowerment zones because of his help. It happens to be Sumter, Columbia empowerment zone.
So, just to be clear, you support Mamdani's running, or I guess his position as the Democratic primary winner. Is that an endorsement? Are you endorsing him as mayor of New York City?
I support the Democratic nominee. He is the nominee.
At this point,
I'm not going to say it, but I am going to say it. We're so united that I support the Democrat nominee. Well, are you going to support that Democratic nominee? Well, I support the Democratic nominee. Yeah, but what about that guy? Well, I mean, he's the Democratic nominee. I obviously support him. But do you support Mamdani and his whole platform? Well, I mean, he's the nominee. Of course. Guys, are you seeing this? They're trying to dance this line because they don't have any way out of it. They're either going to say they're for the socialist and piss off the establishment, or they're going to say that they're not for the socialist and piss off the socialist. Right? It's progressive versus establishment. This is why I'm telling you these things, because this is going to directly affect the control of the House and the Senate. You know, once we figure out the problem we're dealing with, they're going to have one themselves. Only theirs is a lot bigger. But anyway, let's keep on going. I got one more for you. Another House representative. Now this guy This guy is one of the people in the middle. Same host, same show, same network, everything. Watch this one. And if you guys are getting in here just now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Thank you for overcoming the YouTube algorithm shenanigans. All right, let's get into this last one. This one blows everything away, and then I'll tie it all together. Watch this.
And, you know, one of the things that I guess one of the questions here is the current DNC chair, Ken Martin, fellow Minnesotan, used you as an example in saying the party is a big tent. It can welcome people from different ideological, geographic perspectives. I think he used the example of you couldn't win a race in Ilhan Omar's district and she couldn't win a race in yours. Is there room for you and Mamdani in the Democratic Party?
You know, I think it's a fine question. I think it's one that many Republicans have been asking about, whether there's room for traditional conservatives in a party now led by MAGA Republicans like Donald Trump. The answer ultimately, I think, is no. You know, we do share many of the same values. In fact, most Americans share a lot of the same values. But as a political party, yes, you want diversity. You want some differences of opinion, perspective, life story, politics, and experience. But when you have socialists, in the Democratic Party, I don't know how anybody could argue that that would be beneficial for the party or for the country. Therein lies the great challenge. Same thing on the right, Omar.
All right, guys, you have to, like, when you tie all this together, which I'm going to let them finish in 1 second, it's going to do this amazing, like, little zipper move, right? It's going to come all together. What they're trying to do is they're trying to thread the needle between, yeah, we love the Democrat nominee. Yeah, the Democrat nominee is a socialist. But did I mention we love the DNC? And then you've got Fetterman coming out. He's not a Democrat at all. He's a socialist. Then you got Phillips right here, who's a House member, or was a House member. He's still in former House member. So he's in the establishment wing. He's openly saying you can't have socialists and Democrats together. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't jive. Although we agree in most of the same things. No, you don't. You don't agree in most of the same things. You just said you don't agree in most of the same things. And then he tried this slick little move that the politicians try, where they go, but MAGA and Republicans have the exact same issue. Okay, MAGA and the Republicans have about this much of a gulf of difference between them. Socialists and Democrats have about this much, if not this much. You're talking about tremendous differences of coming out and going, hey, I'm a complete socialist. If you were going to make that same comparison on the Democrats talking to the Republicans, it would be like MAGA coming out and going, yeah, I fully support fascism. That's what would be different here. They're nowhere near the same. One is an overt, out in the open, dyed in the red wool socialist, and one is very close to each other. But they can't actually say it because they've got to dance that same line. Guys, it's indicative of what they're going through in their party. They are split. And they're not split on an individual moment, like, to be quite candid, like the right is right now having this conversation about all the shenanigans we're going through. We're going to get through it. Trust me. But the left has some very big, broad, basic, fundamental questions they can't get past. Establishment and extremes cannot marry together. That's what he's trying to say is happening on the Republicans too. Do you see that? Let me know in the chat. Let him finish, and we will wrap this all up.
Is MAGA the future of the Republican Party? If it is, there is going to be a new, grand, successful third party in America, because the overwhelming majority of Americans want neither far left or far right politics. They want decency, they want common sense, competency, and cooperation. And no party right now is elevating candidates who represent those ideals.
All right. This is one of the most important things that you have to hear when we're talking about all the things that we're talking about. I mentioned to you earlier, the gun right, like all the things that we cover, from the political aspirations to the actual races, to the updates, to the political climate of the culture, to the outcomes, to everything, all of it. We cover all of that because it all filters into the end outcome and the end goal, right? That's why this is so important to go into these details and show you these things so we can be more informed in the 2A space, what's happening out in the broad politic, and then affect it. That's the whole change in the culture thing. I did the exact same thing when we were talking about Elon's new party. Because Elon's new party is doing what this guy is just talking about. The America Party, trying to go after the center that's pissed off at the far right in MAGA, far right, and the far left in the socialists on the left, on the Democrats. What you're looking at is someone trying to fill a void in the market in demand, which they believe exists. You got Elon Musk launching the party. You've got Dean Phillips talking about the centrists, the people in the middle. Socialists can't be in the Democrats. Fascists can't be in the conservatives. That's what you're looking at right now. You are literally in the middle of people trying to find a political home. That's why this is so crucial, because our 2A rights completely are reliant on how this ends up. That's why we cover it. That's why we have to be informed on it. Because if there's an America party and they take seats, Democrats control the House in 2026, on top of all the other factors. If there's a new party on the left, Republicans have a supermajority forever. Literally, it is the stakes are that clear. Because right now we're living about 51-49, swinging back and forth. That's why we cover these things. But you're watching the left not be able to identify that socialists are bad, but also not say they're good either. They're dancing a line because their own constituents are pissed. All right. Let me get this super chat, because I just saw someone pop one in. VG Hammer with the $10. They fought the communist socialist label while fighting against the right and now have to tie themselves to it since they're the only ones left standing with them. Pretty much. And here's the big thing, and I'll say this off of VG's post here. And guys, jump in the chat. If I see something that I can get to, I'll absolutely will. VG just brought up a very interesting point. When you start the virtue signaling, when you start the purity test, which is why I'm so against purity test. I abhor purity test, because they always go this direction. Someone is always willing to go further in order to be more pure, to get the approval of whatever audience they're seeking. In this case, the left, the socialists, are going to go as far left as they can. That's why communism is always the end result, because it's about fairness. It's about the bourgeoisie. It's about the proletariat. It's all about these class struggles, and it's not more fair if this is not more fair. And one person's idea of 2 toilet paper rolls in a week is perfectly fine until someone else comes along and says, no, we should get 3. And if you don't want them to have that third one, you're part of the problem. You're not a friend of the proletariat. Literally, that's what happens. You have these virtue signaling purity tests, and it breaks everything apart on the right and on the left. That's why I hate them. I abhor them. That's what you're seeing. VG, excellent super chat. All right, we got another super chat. John Wynn says, I'm lost. President Trump has so many wins for us. I'm lost. There are a lot of wins that are stacking up. There's some concerning ones that we're going to iron out. Like, we're just going to hammer on them like a blacksmith, but we're going to figure them out. Got some situations going on, and you guys know what I'm talking about. There's no reason to beat the dead horse. But that's kind of where we're at. So now let me give you guys, since you're all in here, let me give you a little update on what we're gonna do. And yes, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up and that like button and share it out. So you guys love, or at least you are telling me you really like the live formats. You guys like these exchanges. You guys are also telling me that you like the recaps. So we're working on fine-tuning not only the podcast piece of this, which is what we're recording now, and then we're live streaming it. So we're kind of doing a twofer. But you guys are also enjoying the supercut stuff, which is basically taking the best of the live stream and the podcast and putting it into one video in the morning to catch you up on it if you missed it. Then we have our normal 2A content. Then we have our normal overall live breaking conversations. We're trying to put this all together in a way that makes sense for you guys, so we don't burn too much of your time, but also so that it makes the most efficient context for people who welcome into the channel and bring in more information to the public as well. So that's what we're doing. So bear with me as we kind of fine tune this. Bottom line, wherever we land on this, you're going to get more content. We're going to push further for our rights, whether they're 2A space or they're broad. And we're going to have a lot more say in changing the culture together, because this is something that was really picking up steam. So I just wanted to give you guys that administrative update. I will make sure that I will send out a video in the morning on something I've got cooked up for you guys. And actually I got a super chat, and then I'll wrap this up. Purity test is how after getting to a $15 minimum wage turned into a $30 minimum wage almost instantly. Yeah, exactly right. Purity tests are destructive, incredibly destructive. But with that, I will let that be the last super chat. I am going to tell you, each and every one of you have the best Thursday night that you've had at least this week. I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. We are going to keep grinding together, because together we do indeed grind. And my brothers and sisters, my bastions of freedom, I will see you on the next episode. I'm Braden. See you later.